We're going to be reading in our social studies, so you should have your book out and open on page 92. You're following along with me, reading in your own book while you're listening to the video and maybe answering questions in the video about what we're talking about. Today's lesson is going to be on regions, and that is our vocabulary word for today as well. So we'll talk about that when we get to the paragraph. Go ahead and get your fingers on, ready to read. Build on what you know. Think about your neighborhood. What makes it different from a nearby neighborhood? Our area, like Corona, might be different than some of the beach cities, like in Huntington Beach. What makes it different? Well, they have different weather even from us because they're closer to the beach. They have cooler weather, lots of breeze and cooler weather than we do out here in Corona. So each neighborhood and area can have different characteristics. And so that can be part of a region. Let's talk about regions. Regions. A region is an area that has some shared natural or human feature. Now we're talking about, that means they have something in common. That it can either come from nature that's in common, like their landforms or their weather, or it can have something in common that's humans make it. Okay, and we'll talk about it later, but one example is language. Humans make up language, and so we can have regions based on languages, what language you speak, or countries, what country you live in. That could be a region. But that doesn't come from nature. That's people saying this part of the land is part of this country. Okay, let's keep reading. People use regions as a way of describing places. Some regions are natural regions, such as climate, landform, or plant regions. Other regions are human regions. They are described by human features. The languages that people speak and the work they do are human features. Okay, so a region just means an area that has something in common. Okay, so let's now talk next page about landform regions. Areas with shared landforms are landform regions. The United States has many landform regions. The map shows the main ones. What is one landform region that your state has? So let's look at this map. It says landform regions of the United States. And of course, we're going to look at the map key. And that's going to help us understand what all of these colors and symbols mean. So if it is green, then in the United States, those are plains area. If it is yellow with this green plant growing, those are called the Great Plains. Now, they're a little bit different than the regular plains. The Great Plains, of course, have this picture of a crop there because that's where we grow most of our crops. The soil right here in this middle of the country is really good for growing crops. Okay, we have highlands, which highlands are like hills, but not necessarily mountains, okay? So it's not just a plain flat land, there's a hilly land. And then we have mountain regions. And look, in the United States, we have large mountain regions right here along the coast in California where we live. And then over here, this is near Colorado going. And then we also have a big mountain region over here on the east side of the country. And then we have a blue line, means rivers. So we can see right here is a river, over here is a river. And then any other blue, they have water like the ocean and the lakes. Okay, so we can see there are different kinds of landform regions in the United States. So which one is in California? Here's California. I can see we have mountain regions, but we also have highland regions. Those are the two in California. Now we could also say regions could also be states. States is not a landform, of course. That would not be a natural region. That would be a human feature. because humans are the ones that said we're going to divide this land into these sections and make different states. That didn't come from nature, that came from humans to do that. So that could be one type of region as well. Okay, next page. Oh, wait, before we do the next page, sorry about that. Are there more mountains in the southeast or northwest? So looking at the map here, south is down and east. So we're talking about here, southeast, or northwest up here. Which area has more mountains? The northwest has more. Okay. Is there more than one kind of region? Yes, you should have said yes. There are lots of types of regions. Can you name some kinds of regions? Okay, you could have said any one of these regions that were on this map right here. You could have said a region by humans, like language or states or countries. You could have said climate and plants even. Let's keep reading about more regions. Next page. This one's going to talk about plant regions. This is still a map of the United States, but this map looks different. So let's look at this map key and find out what this means. Okay, here we go. We have plant types. These are regions of plants. Forest, grassland, desert, cold climate plants, and other plants. So look at, oh wow, over here on the east side of the United States, look at how much forest we have over there. But is there much forest in the middle? No, not really. That's mainly grassland. And where is the desert area in the United States? Would it be in the north, east, south, or west? Okay, desert would definitely be over here on the west. If you said south, that would work too, because in the south we have desert. But it's mainly here on the west side. Lots of desert over there. Okay, which states have desert plants? So you should have said states like Wyoming, Idaho, Oregon, Nevada, Utah, California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Lots of states have desert type plants. Okay, let's read the paragraph. Get your finger on, ready to follow. Plant regions. Places may be regions because they have the same kind of plants growing naturally. The United States has large forest regions and grassland regions. It also has places where few kinds of plants grow. Some places are too dry for most plants. Other places are too cold and windy. Ooh, we didn't point out this one. Where in the United States do we have cold climate plants? Okay, there's really only a few areas. We see it here in Colorado, here in Oregon and Washington, and then most of it is in the state of Alaska, because Alaska is very much farther north. Okay, which plant region shown on this map is the largest? And you should have said the forest. We can see that's most of it is the forest. Okay, next page. The United States has many kinds of forests. The forest on the left has the kinds of trees that grow in the hot climate of Hawaii. The forest on the right has the kinds of trees that grow in New England's cool climate. So here, these trees grow in hot weather, but it's still a forest. And here, these trees grow in cool weather, still a forest. And let's answer the question, what are two kinds of plant regions? Okay, and you could have listed any of the ones that were here as two kinds of plant regions. All right. Let's answer this question here. What region do you live in? Do you know which one is ours? Okay. Let's keep going. Languages of Switzerland. One day, Marie visited a city in Switzerland called Genf. At the same time, her friend Sam visited Geneva, and her friend Kim went to Geneva. Surprise! They all met in the same city. How can a city have more than one name? Switzerland is a small country, but it has many regions and 4 national languages. In the past, people in each region spoke a different language. Today, the regions are not as clear. Most people in Switzerland speak more than one language. Still, many signs say the same thing in 3 or 4 languages. So let's look at the map over here of Switzerland. Look at the map key. Here we go. Which languages are spoken in Switzerland? Okay, we see that we have German, French, Italian, and Romanish, I guess. Okay, which language is spoken the most? So if you look, which one had the most color? I see yellow is the most. You should have said German is the most in Switzerland. Okay, which is the second largest language region in Switzerland? So after German, probably the biggest one we're going to see here is this green one, which would be French. Okay, so let's explain how Marie, Sam, and Kim could go to these 3 places and still be in the exact same city. Okay, they have different names because of the different languages, even though it's the same city. So depending on the language, I know this is the one in French, and I believe this is in German. So this one might be Italian. Okay, so it's the name of the city in the different languages. So languages, this type of region, would that be a natural region or would that be a human region? Okay, this would be a human region. It's people who make up languages, not nature. And so that they split it into different areas based on the languages. So it's a human feature. All right, that's it for today. You're going to do the practice book page, and then that's it.